Hello, this is Richard Anthony Marca, and this is my first video for CSC313 graphics. This assignment is page 26 and 27 of the 3D spinning donut animation, and the exercise is 1.3-1, where we're supposed to create a different shape instead of the donut. From Rendering Geometries, Bitmaps, and Animation by Dr. Benjamin Sanders. And if I run it, here it is. We changed it a bit so it is, instead of just constantly going upwards, it stays in the same place. And you can see it is turning around this 2D ASCII like a 3D model, even though it's not 3D. Where most of the parameters are unchanged, some which will be explained in the Word document, there is some slight changes to the parameter, but there's a lot more changes where the rotation and even the printing of the sphere is different than the original. And here is the Word document of everything. While this first assignment was very short, literally 2 pages of code, there wasn't a lot that we could do that was individual, because the only differences we had were the coordinates after rotation, the sphere, the print frame, which is slightly different, luminance index, and the radius. So while the original had 2 variables that was double R1 and double R2, because this is a sphere and the radius is constant throughout, we just have R. We don't need 2 radii. We just need 1 radius. So our radius in this case was 2. But every other parameter is the same. And the character brightnesses are unchanged. The only thing that's different here is comments are changed. Technically, this is supposed to also be red because the original one says donut parameters, but that doesn't affect the code. When we go to this area, which is the 3D components, most of it's the same, but for this first one, the top for loop is slightly different because instead of multiplying 2 by pi, we just have pi for theta. Now, when we go to the 3D coordinates of the sphere, it is a lot more different. X and Y is R times sine theta times cosine of phi, and the Y is just R times sine theta sine of phi, where the Z position is going to be the radius times cosine of theta. So the 3D coordinates of the sphere. The 3D coordinates after rotation, this is where it differs a lot more because we don't have circle 1, circle 2, and even the variables are different. We have X ROT for X rotation, Y rotation, Z rotation, and 1 over Z for the depth. And these 2 integers, XP for X position and YP for Y position, are different because they don't use circle 1 and circle 2. They use X rotation and Y rotation. Another integer IDX, where it's XP and YP times width, because XP and YP are not what was in the original, so it's slightly different. Now, for this project, one of the weird things was luminance indexing. Now, we had to change this a lot because it wasn't working correctly unless we changed the luminance index. So this helped change the index. Oh, let me just add this. This helped change the index to make sure that it was functioning properly. Lastly, we have the print frame, which is completely aesthetic, where the console is cleared after every step of turning the sphere. So as you can see, system out print, you have this bunch of things, which basically is a function to help clear the console, and then system.out flush. So that way, instead of with the donut where it kept going upwards, it just clears it out and keeps the sphere in the middle. And that is the end of this code explanation and demonstration. And thank you for listening. I will see you in the next one.